Hi, this is the lecture for Unit 13, Power, Influence, and Politics. I'm Elaine Paganchev, and this is for Management 300, Leading for Possibility. We're going to discuss power and influence, the sources of leader power, influence tactics, and I'm going to divide it into honest and ethical and dishonest and unethical. And then at the very end, we'll have a discussion over positive political skills. What is power? Well, in a nutshell, it's the ability of one person to influence another person. It isn't always power over people. There's also the ability to influence things, events, the attitudes and behaviors of people. And we speak of power in relative terms as opposed to absolute terms here. Relative terms being related to the types of power one wields, the sources of one's power, the circumstances of the power relationship, the relationship of the people that are involved, etc., etc. Obviously, you're going to have more power over some people than others, and you will have more influence over some types of issues than other kinds of issues. So let's go on and look at some of these things. First, I want to introduce the concept of leadership frames of reference. And the four things under this concept are the structural frame, the human resource frame, the political frame, and the symbolic frame. We're going to focus on the political frame, but first an overview of everything. A frame of reference is actually kind of like your worldview of how you look at leadership. The way in which you gather information, the way you make decisions, the way that you exercise power. Let's talk about structural first. I'm not going to read these slides for you. You can stop or pause the video and read these more in depth. But basically, looking from the structural frame, you're looking at the organization as if it were a machine. You're looking for efficiency, you're looking for rationality within the system. You have more of a task-oriented leadership style here, with emphasis on goal setting. In a human resource frame of reference, people are the most valuable resource in the organization. We look at interpersonal relationships when we're trying to define problems. Effective leaders will use this human resource perspective to involve others and look at opportunities for professional development, personal development, that type of thing. This is the frame of reference I want to spend more time on, the political frame. We're looking at the organization as having conflict, tension, usually over scarce resources. Sometimes you'll hear the organization referred to as a jungle. It's a jungle out there. Some people will kind of put down the political aspects of an organization like it's below them. I want to emphasize that politics is a reality in all organizations, ethical and unethical. You cannot become an effective leader without understanding politics and using politics. But we'll talk about the way in which politics are viewed in a little bit. The political frame of reference is a hidden frame of reference. You're not going to get oriented to it necessarily on your first day on the job. It's not going to be written up in any of the brochures that the organization puts out. It's something that you will experience and learn on what Jerry Egan calls the shadow side of the organization. This is a frame where you build networks, where you build alliances, where you build coalitions, and try to influence the decision-making that goes on in the organization. Very often it's a conscious building of power, a base from which to influence others. There are personal and positional aspects to power, and we'll review those in a second. The particular skills that we're looking at, leadership skills, are negotiating, bargaining, and coalition building. In the positive frame, it's to serve organizational needs as opposed to personal needs. This frame of reference taken to an extreme can result in deception, dishonesty, and you'll see power plays for purposes of one's own personal interest as opposed to the interest of others and the interests of the organization. Go on to part 2 of this lecture now.